Within me burns the holy radiance of the Emperor made manifest, while your soul festers with the meager filth of chaos. I am the light to your darkness, heretic. As sudden dawn scatters the shadows of night, so I and my sisters shall purge all trace of you from this holy place and make it as though you never were. From Sister Superior Chiandra Lassama. The Order of the Sacred Rose is one of the major orders militant of the ADEPTA Sororitas, or the Sisters of Battle, founded in honor of Saint Arabella by the Ecclesiarch Diakis VI in the middle of the 38th millennium, at the same time as the Order of the Bloody Rose was founded. The order is based on Terra in the Convent Prioris. The Order's history. In the wake of the mad High Lord Gorge Vanda's downfall in the 36th millennium, which ended his tyrannical reign of blood, Sebastian Thor was declared Ecclesiarch and instituted sweeping reforms to the Ecclesiarchy. The High Lords of Terra were fearful of a repetition of the Reign of Blood, and so the Decree Passive was passed, forbidding the Ecclesiarchy from maintaining men under arms. Alicia Dominica, leader of the Daughters of the Emperor, at Thor's order, formally founded the Orders Militant of the ADEPTA Sororitas, which adhere to the letter, if not to the spirit, of the decree in that all its warriors were female. Following Thor's reformation of the Ecclesiarchy, the newly founded ADEPTA Sororitas were split between the Convent Prioris on Holy Terra and the Convent Sanctorum on Ophelia 7. Both of these convents are massive fortresses housing tens of thousands of sisters. Those sisters still residing at San Leo were transported to the new convent, and the foundations of the non-militant orders were laid. In time, the Orders Militant grew into larger and more powerful organizations, and Sebastian Thor's successor, the Ecclesiarch Alexis the 22nd, decreed that the two convents each be divided into two Orders Militant. Though Arabella was only canonized posthumously, she performed countless miracles during her lifetime. She traveled the Imperium serving as a commander and beacon of faith for many solar decades. The circumstances surrounding her martyrdom are not recorded in any ecclesiastical text, but in the 38th millennium, the Order of the Sacred Rose was founded in her name. Ecclesiarch Diakis VI formed the order from the sisters of the Convent Prioris, and from the outset, the Sacred Rose proved themselves worthy of their matriarch. Through their wars of faith, they brought the light of the Emperor to regions long thought lost to darkness. Imperial planets were freed from the yoke of heretical tyrants, cabals of Xenos mystics were hunted down and butchered, and sanctuaries were established to serve as outposts of divinity in the most remote corners of the Imperium. The Sacred Rose forged a sizable parish in the Ultima Segmentum, but like Arabella, they brought their faith to bear across the galaxy. Like the Order of the Bloody Rose, the Order of the Sacred Rose was not established during the existence of its patron saint, Arabella. In her lifetime, she earned the honorific of Liberator, and many battle sisters, especially retributors, are known to pray to her spirit for liberation from doubt and rash action when a cool, logical head is required. Of all of Dominica's bodyguards, Arabella was known as a particularly disciplined, even-tempered sister. However, behind her serenity lay the determination of a resolute warrior, and her symbol was thus a white rose held aloft in a mailed gauntlet. The white armored sisters of the Sacred Rose embody these same virtues, facing down alien hordes and warp-spawned monsters with bolters calmly leveled where lesser warriors would panic and falter. The era Indomitus. The Order's ability to draw others to their cause has been of crucial value since the Great Rift tore open at the start of the era Indomitus. The occluding mass of warp storms has plunged hundreds of thousands of worlds into perpetual darkness. Astropathic lines of communication have been severed by the psychic upheaval. Billions of distress calls have been lost in the screaming void. Cut off from the light of the Astronomicon, navigators are unable to guide void ships between distant stars, and so, even those cries for help that are received can rarely be answered with action. The majority of the Sacred Rose's sanctuaries lie deep within the Imperium Nihilus, but few have succumbed to the nightmares unleashed across that half of the galaxy. The Sisters of the Sacred Rose have remained a steadfast beacon of hope and have fought the enemies of the faith with the same resoluteness of spirit that they have always possessed. Where many worlds were consumed by panic and fear even before the servants of the Dark Gods fell upon them, those under the care of the Order have become bastions of defiance. Sororitas patrols execute anyone who expresses doubt in the security of the Imperium. At the same time, Astra Militarum regiments are commandeered by the Order, and soldiers showing the slightest hints of mutation are expunged. On each planet, the Sororitas lead defenses against legions of demons and heretic Astartes. Yet, it is not only their own worlds that they fight to protect. The Sisters of the Sacred Rose have, miraculously, appeared in multiple war zones across the Imperium Nihilus. Few question how the Sororitas were able to hear their calls for reinforcement, or how they managed to navigate amidst the darkness and horror. Those that do are told by the Sisters that Saint Arabella always provides guidance, even when the Emperor's will is not clear. Here are some of the most notable campaigns. The War for Piety in 835 M41. The Shrine World of Piety rematerialized in real space in 835 M41 after being swallowed by a massive warp storm 2 standard centuries earlier. The planet was, however, almost unrecognizable, having been transformed during its time in the Immaterium into a hideous demon world. Canoness Soraya of the Order of the Sacred Rose immediately led a force of battle sisters to the planet to retrieve artifacts from the Reliquary of Hope, one of the few Imperial sites on Piety to have withstood the corruption of chaos. As the rest of her force established a perimeter around the Reliquary, Soraya led several squads of sisters into the labyrinthine corridors beneath. For 3 solar days, she and her battle sisters fought their way through demon and mutant-haunted passageways. Bolters cut down schools of blood-hungry demon hounds, and the sisters' flamers purged vast swaths of bloated plague beasts. Only Soraya, 2 Celestians, survived the horror to rejoin their order on the surface, having recovered the left thigh bone of Saint Dolan and 3 pages from an original copy of the Lexicon of Falsehoods from a stasis vault in the Reliquary. The surviving battle sisters withdrew to orbit with their prizes just as a fleet of Grey Knight starships arrived and laid waste to the planet with cyclonic torpedoes, performing the merciful exterminatus which put the world's tortured inhabitants out of their misery and offered them the Emperor's peace. The Fires of Faith. In M41, a swarm of orc rocks crashed down the scorched world of Typhus 1, where the Order of the Sacred Rose maintained an isolated sanctuary outpost. The greenskins quickly overwhelmed the planet's defenders, but a score of battle sisters managed to barricade themselves deep within the sanctuary's crypts. Their prayers to the Emperor appeared to be answered when a massive solar flare enveloped Typhus 1. Every last orc was incinerated, while the entombed sisters remained unharmed. The Second Halo Schism in M41. When the Arch-Confessor Cornelius preached the War of Faith that saw the demagogues of the Second Halo Schism burned on pyres 20 meters high, it was the female warriors of the Order of the Sacred Rose that broke the back of the heretical cult's fanatical defense of the Palace of Radiance. The War of Faith in the Kaurava system. In M41. Led by their canoness Selena Agna, the Order helped lead an imperial crusade against Xenos, heretics, and the forces of chaos within the Kaurava system. This crusade brought them into brief conflict with other imperial forces, including the Blood Raven Space Marine chapter and the Imperial Guard's 252nd Conservator Regiment. The Battle Sisters of the Order were supported by the living Saint Anais in the defense of the Order's primary bastion in the Sama district on the planet of Kaurava 1. The Defense of Valador in 997 M41. The Tyranid High Fleet, Leviathan, overruns the ecclesiarchy world of Valador in a matter of solar hours, slaughtering the entire population of pilgrims and Monasterium adepts, as well as overwhelming a battle barge of the Iron Lord's chapter. A small force of battle sisters from the Order of the Sacred Rose represents the only humans to bear witness to the event, having barely fought their way clear of the carnage. The Cryptas Campaign in 998 M41. Canoness Magda Grace led a force of battle sisters to aid the Blood Angels in the defense of the Crypta system from High Fleet Leviathan. And the Chalnath Expanse Campaign in M42. On several worlds in the Chalnath Expanse, the Imperial Creed is replaced by the aberrant philosophies propagated by the Tau Empire's Fifth Sphere expansion. Sisters of the Sacred Rose respond to this crisis of faith, saving those who have remained true to the Emperor and purging those who have been led into damnation. Warriors of the Tau Fire caste present formidable resistance to the Sororitas, but the true threat comes from the Tau leadership caste, known as the Ethereals, whose false preachings of the greater good claim countless human souls. The Order's Combat Doctrine. When the Sisters of the Sacred Rose march to war, they do so in a state of holy grace. Scores of sororitas advance in perfect tactical harmony, adapting fluidly to the shifting tides of battle. Squads unleash the firepower of the Holy Trinity with measured discipline. As they do so, they lift their voices, singing lilting hymns in praise of the Emperor. This symphony of choral worship and roaring weaponry quickly drowns out the screams of dying mutants and the wet tearing of heretical flesh. The Sisters press the attack wherever their enemy shows weakness, sending frag grenades sailing into gaps in formations and blasting the exposed flanks of artillery with superheated melter beams. And where the foe shows strength, they stand firm, locking ranks against assaults and cutting down onrushing attackers with deliberate and devastating salvos. Yet, it is their seamless pairing of faith with physical prowess that makes them a truly indomitable force. Miraculous bursts of speed are factored into redeployment maneuvers, whilst the spontaneous combustion of nearby foes is relied upon as much as any chainsword or bolt pistol. Assured of the Emperor's providence, the Sisters of the Sacred Rose maintain their ineffable serenity as they slaughter all before them. The Order is often accompanied to war by an inordinate number of ecclesiastical followers. Adeptus Ministorum priests and their fanatical conclaves flock to the sororitas, eager to witness the miracles that will unfold. As such, even small missions are rarely short of soldiers. A core of sororitas may be supported by many devotees of the imperial cult, their prayers and cries of penance intermingling with the battle hymn of the Sacred Rose. Canonesses of the Order welcome these faithful auxiliaries and teach the sisters in their charge that the Emperor has the power to act through the least of his servants. Saint Arabella herself was known to gather the unwashed rabble to her banner in times of battle, and it is said that the power of her conviction transformed them into armies of indomitable warriors. The Order's beliefs. More so than any other order, the Sacred Rose avow that they are not only devout servants of the God Emperor, they are the conduits of his divine will. Through them is his glory made manifest in the galaxy, for their words and actions are guided by his infallible wisdom. The Order teaches that victory comes from faith, and faith alone. If a warrior has enough faith, she can command the stars to consume her enemies, and the Emperor will make it so. The sisters act on this belief in every battle, war and crusade they wage, trusting that the triumphal slaughter of their foes has been preordained. even when one of their number falls, they know that this too is part of the Emperor's plan. A single martyr can spark a fire in 1,000 souls, giving rise to an inferno of faith that can never be extinguished. These beliefs give the Sisters of the Sacred Rose an air of devout serenity that approaches that held by their matriarch, Arabella. She was renowned for her calm nature in the face of horror, and was known among Alicia Dominica's guard as being the most even-tempered. It is widely told that Arabella was instrumental in the negotiations between Dominica and the custodian who led the matriarchs before the Golden Throne. Arabella subsequently earned the honorific of Liberator, for she sought to break the shackles of fear and doubt that bound the faithful, and strove to free humanity from the evils of the faithless. Though a formidable combatant, her true strength sprang from the abundance of miracles that are said to have happened in her presence. There are stories of heretics imploding into lumps of smoldering flesh as her gaze fell upon them, crushed by the weight of their own wickedness, or having their eyes melt from their face as they beheld her glory. The Order's most prominent relic is known as the Light of Saint Agnaitha. Emanating from within an adamantium brazier inscribed with the deeds of the matriarch of the Sacred Rose, Arabella, the Light of Saint Agnaitha is a blinding illumination against the shadows of the Great Rift, laying bare the truth of evil. Those who embody the foulness of the demon are cowed. The touch of its actinic glare, when lifted high with serene grace, causes impure flesh to char and combust in a conflagration of holy fire. And the Order's appearance. The colors of the Sisters of the Sacred Rose's vestments and power armor is white, with contrasting black vestments. The linings of their cloaks are red, as are their weapons. And the Order's badge is a simple white rose.